Are you part of a nonprofit organization or youth group looking to raise cash for your cause? Stay tuned at the end of this video to learn how you can bring the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation to your town live, featuring the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of Memories and Legends. I'm Dan Maurice here at the infamous MWF Studios, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, where the magic with the Iron Sheik began, can you believe it or not, 13 years ago this week, where that video went to become one of the first viral videos in YouTube history, and then on to the Howard Stern show. To this day, more people know me as Dan Maloney than Dan Maurice. But tonight, we're going to have another series of great interviews coming up over the next few weeks with some great guests. But a man I've been waiting to have here for quite a while, a very dear friend of mine, and that's a phrase that's used a lot in professional wrestling. Oh, hey, brother, give you the little shake, or I love you like a brother, and all those phrases. This, to me, is the epitome of what a professional wrestler should be. A genuine class human being who has found success through years and years of hard work and has not changed one iota. Maybe he doesn't respond to the emails as quickly as he used to. I'll job him out for that a little bit later on. But this is someone that you talk about at the end of your existence, especially in wrestling. There is a mortality that comes with it. He's someone I'd want to hold the casket when they dump me into the ground. My good friend, the former MWF Heavyweight Champion, former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, IWGP Tag Team Champion, Warbeard Hanson. Can I call you Todd anymore?
Sure, you can call me Todd.
I can call you Todd. Well, it took a while, but we got you here.
What an intro. To rewind, you mentioned the Iron Sheik shoot video that was done here.
Were you here for that one?
I was here for that. I did the camera switches up there.
You helped direct? Really?
I helped direct.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I did the camera switches. While craziness was going on in here, I was up there helping to flip the cameras. 3
hours of unexpected drug-induced insanity, I think, is the only way to explain it. As I sat even closer to him than I'm sitting to you right now, I had no idea that that was going to happen. It was never planned to happen, but you know what? In wrestling, as we know, a lot of things just happen.
Yeah,
but for wrestling fans, if you are unfamiliar with that Iron Sheik studio shoot interview DVD, please head on over to the MWF store on BostonWrestling.com. It's also available to rent or own on VOD, starting at only $5.99. It's 3 hours long. That's a pretty cheap rental.
Yeah, that's it.
In my point of view.
Yeah, and it's something special.
It is. But Sheiky Baby loved you. He was your manager a few times here in the MWF. Even though we're not going to try and go down MWF memory lane here. You had a lot of fun with the Sheik.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Todd, look at this. I look at this right now. I sit here so proud to think of when you'd be here at this TV studio each and every Sunday night working on promos and other nuances of wrestling that you'd pick up just by the observation of the year. And look at what you had, this gear that's seen by literally millions of people around the globe in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I have to ask you almost the end before we get to the beginning. How does it feel to be where you are in 2017 with everything you've overcome in the past 16 years?
I mean, it's crazy. It's mind-blowing. It's 16 years from when I started training, a little over 16 years. And there have been serious lows that time frame. And to be where I am now in a thriving professional wrestling industry it's mind-blowing and crazy. And be able to travel the world and do what I love when I thought so many times that my career was over, it's amazing.
A testament to everything that you are and everything I thought you would be back then. But I won't take credit for it like everybody else will. I don't want to set the internet ablaze. But Todd, you know, we're always getting questions about how, why, and so on do you break into professional wrestling. We have a good friend of ours we met at a couple of the WrestleCons down in WrestleMania. You missed it this year. You were over in Japan. Yeah. Vince Martinez, he's an aspiring wrestler, traveling, listen to this, Hulk, 2.5 hours each way, 3 times a week, out in Los Angeles at the Santino Brothers School. I give a lot of props to him to try and do it. the right way. I don't think I've ever heard of someone other than maybe Mick Foley traveling that far for professional wrestling training when there's so many schools available in 2017. But I won't even get started on my thoughts about professional wrestling schools. But let's take to all those aspiring wrestlers that want to be where you are someday and where you're going as time goes on. Just like you sat in their chair, you sat on your sofa at home, you put on the television set, and you saw professional wrestling for the first time. What are some of your earliest memories of pro wrestling?
I mean, there's some early memories of Hogan and Savage and the Warrior. I remember Jake Roberts and the Snake biting Savage when he got tied up. Like, that's an early memory. But I wasn't a wrestling fan then. It wasn't until the 1-2-3 Kid beat Razor Ramon on Monday Night Raw. That's what drew me into professional wrestling. That anything can happen. That unpredictability, or McMahon always, anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. That drew me in. As a kid, that drew me in.
Now, isn't that, and I've always loved it, because you've told me that many times, obviously, but how many people at home would think seeing Warbeard Hanson, one of the inspirations to get you to actually want to do it, would have been the 1-2-3 Kid, who is much bigger in person than he was portrayed on television back in 1993. I think now he'd probably be bigger than just about everybody, the majority of the WWE roster at his height. He's not exactly a slight guy, but he just wasn't big as the 90s monsters.
He wouldn't be a part of 205 Live, that's for sure.
Yeah. Great guy. I love him.
Yeah, but people are shocked when they find out who my favorites were as a kid, because it wasn't just the 1-2-3 Kid. It was Martinez. It was Aldo Montoya.
All right, keep going.
Oh boy, who am I missing?
How could you even ask? Mr. Perfect.
Oh yeah, Mr. Perfect.
You loved Mr. Perfect.
Very big Mr. Perfect fan. All those guys, but the underdogs were big for me. I even liked Avatar when Al Snow wore the Avatar gear. Like, I was a big fan of that underdog wrestler. So people are shocked when I tell them that those were my favorites as a kid, especially Aldo Montoya.
Why did you have such a liking for these underdogs? Did you feel like an underdog when you were a little Warbeard?
Maybe, but I guess I wanted to be that small guy who flew around. Underdog, maybe I felt that way as a kid because people always counted me down because I wasn't always in the best shape or whatnot. So I felt that underdog feeling, but I also wanted to be that high flyer and do amazing things in the ring and wow the crowd. So
you wanted to fly.
I did.
Even back when you were a little Warbeard.
I did, yeah.
At what point do you think you got it in your system that this is more than something I want to see on television? This is something I actually want to do.
It was that moment. It was that 1-2-3 Kid beat Razor Ramon.
You said, this is I want to do
That's what I want to do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you went the route of, and there's a difference between the 80s kids and the 90s kids with the backyard wrestling. When I was a kid, everybody wrestled in their backyard, but you went to the length of, you had almost a promotion going on at one point when you were a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
With one of the true legends of the time, Ernie the cab driver Wilson.
Yes, of course. Yeah, in high school, I opted not to do sports in high school. I wanted professional wrestling, and at the time, with Mick Foley's, like documentary stuff coming out in his book and stuff like that, backyard wrestling was real hot. ECW style, it was really popular. 98, 99, 2000, wrestling was peak. So, yeah, we started the wrestling promotion, ran it in the backyard wrestling promotion, for like 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, really? It went on that long?
Yeah, the whole time. Pretty much the whole time I was in high school.
Yeah.
I hadn't quite finished with it when I started training. So I had to figure out, because I ran it.
You couldn't bring it to a climax when you started your wrestling training.
I ran it, so I felt responsible for everyone else, and to end it, you know what I mean? It would take it away from everybody else. So I had to slowly transition to ending it.
So I mean, you're all hot. I've said that since 2002, since I get to know you. You are all hot, much more so than I. But what got you to the point where you started to examine schools or places you could train?
Freshman year, I don't even know if I've told you this, but freshman year in high school, I was in a class, Basic Business and Free Enterprise, and one of the projects we had to do was job shadow. Well, all I wanted to do was be a pro wrestler. So we worked out, my dad actually took me to Kowalski's School of Professional Wrestling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for a whole day. And I did a whole paper on becoming a professional wrestler.
Wow.
Which was not met well with the teacher.
Why?
Just not a
They
fan.
weren't a fan of wrestling.
That wasn't what they were looking for. They weren't looking for me to look for professional wrestling. They wanted me to have like a real job.
They wanted you to, I know your dad was a teacher, but they wanted you to have a dad that was in business and follow him around some office all day and
Yeah.
make a report on that?
Yeah, that's what, pretty much what they wanted. But that's what I did.
They wanted something boring, in other words,
Yes.
that you wouldn't have enjoyed.
I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and that's what I did. So my dad actually took me to Killer's School. All sorts of guys. Luis Ortiz was there, and Duke Dalton, and all those guys. Hollow was there.
Did you want to get in the ring then?
Of course, yeah.
Really?
Of course, yeah.
So we're going to fast forward, I guess, a couple of years, because I know you weren't a freshman in high school.
No.
You wound up initially training with I don't know if a school would be the right word, because I believe it was an outdoor academy. Is that a good way to put it?
The first few sessions, yeah. So I was working 2 jobs. I'm junior. I'm a junior, maybe. Yeah, I think I'm a junior. In the junior year, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm working at KB Toy Works. I'm working at Smart Beep. And I learned that you love it. You love Smart Beep. I learned that somebody who worked at Smart Beep also refereed for NWA New England, and got Turner. And he was my.
You're going to use the shoot name or the work name?
I used the shoot name, but Scott W. Ulrich as well. I love Scott. He
I
got.
wonder, I thought about him not too long ago. I wonder if he's still alive. Do you have any idea?
No, he
I know
passed.
he did?
He
How
passed.
long ago?
Maybe 3 years ago.
How'd you find out?
Facebook.
Oh, you were Facebook friends with him?
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly the pillar of good health.
No.
Well, you know what, Scott? We miss you, buddy. We had some fun right here in this studio with him.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's my contact to NWA New
You know,
England.
about 6'4", 400 pounds, just to give you an idea of what
Yes.
this referee looked like.
Yes.
Which is why I rolled my eyes in disgust for a minute there. So he was your referee connection
Yes. Yeah, he got me hooked up with NWA New England.
from working at Smart Beat.
Yes.
Now, there was a great story. I don't know if you'd want to share the Scott Walrus story.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember the Smart Beat scandal, the night you got to go home a little early to wrestling practice?
Oh, my.
Because even if people don't know him, I love the story.
I guess Smart Beep isn't the company anymore, so
Right, so
I
why
guess it's
not?
not a big deal. It was in October because it was close to around my father's birthday, I think. So he used that as an excuse. He said, if you want to go home early, you can. I'm like, oh, okay, are you sure? I wanted to get paid, so I wanted the money. He's like, yeah, well, I'll pay you for the whole time that you're supposed to work. You can go home early. And then he divulged why he needed me to go home early. Don't tell anybody, keep this a secret. It's really, you know how sometimes I, pay for you guys' lunch and stuff like that. Well, I've been using the company money to pay for that. And I don't remember why he needed to do this that day, but
Well, before you left.
yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, you're right. It was before the store closed. That's why.
Right.
So he ended up putting 2 registers in the place, which we never had 2 registers in.
There weren't that many Smart Beepers in 2000, 2001.
No.
Okay.
And he had me leave, and he staged a robbery. And not only did he stage a robbery, he got away with it. He 100% got away with it.
Was Smart Beep suspicious of this staged robbery?
Yes.
I mean, were you interviewed?
I was questioned by the general manager and played dumb, but there was no evidence to go against them.
So he said someone broke into the store and
No,
held him up,
he was held up knife point.
Did they take any beepers too, or just the cash?
No, just the cash. Just the
They
cash.
didn't want the beepers.
Just the cash.
And he got away with it.
He got away with it.
That's a magical, I almost swore there, magical story.
Yeah.
Good guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, people could sit at home and say, good guy, he staged a robbery. Those are the people we know in wrestling, I guess. So talk about your initial training experience. Again, I mentioned a few minutes ago, it wasn't exactly a school with a roof. It was an outdoors experience.
Yeah, no, the first 3 or 4 sessions was actually in Jason Rumble's backyard
So it wasn't too
in
far
Malden.
off from the Ernie the Cab Driver Wilson days.
No, but there was a ring involved,
Okay.
and these guys were trained at least somewhat at some point. at Kowalski's. So I was learning stuff I had no idea how to do. So it was good for what it was, learning some of the very basics in the ring. Eventually that ring moved to Woburn, at a gym in Woburn.
That was the first place I saw it.
Didn't the 24-hour power gym in Woburn didn't last very long there because of the bumps were too loud for the people working out. So the complaints real quick, and we got booted out of there. And then it went to Woonsocket, Rhode Island. So it wasn't a 2.5-hour ride, but for me, I'd get out of school and I'd drive hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to Woonsocket, train, and then a little quicker coming back because there wasn't any traffic, but hour and 15, hour and a half.
Do you still have the world's record for the most amount of tickets going through the tunnel on 93 North?
Oh, yeah, probably.
You got zinged an awful lot.
I did. I did. I had more tickets probably because I couldn't afford to get my sticker, get my car fixed, get a sticker. So I got
The Al Bundy mobile.
Yeah, I probably got three tickets for having an expired inspection sticker. But I got a lot of speeding. Yeah, driving all that way and trying to get to and from fast, I got a lot of speeding tickets, which eventually led to me losing my license.
How long did it take for you to begin this training in someone's backyard, then moving to a gym in Woburn, Massachusetts, then moving to a gym in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, all the way to your first match, a very magical, memorable night for me, February the 15th,
Yes.
2002, Malden, Massachusetts, some Italian club, I think it was.
Italian American Veterans Club, yeah.
We still have that on the VHS and the archives. I don't know if you've ever seen this
I've
match.
never seen it.
Well, when we do the Todd Hanson, Warbeard Hanson documentary,
Yeah.
5-disc DVD release.
5 discs.
We'll have to do the digitally remastered version like they did with all those old Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Of you and Tiger Mulligan tearing it up. Was your name then? It wasn't Hanson. Was it Johnny Blue then?
They called me Mike King.
Oh!
They called me Mike King.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they called me
And I
Mike.
remember why.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we need to add to that. All right, so anyway, so what year did you start the training?
It was 2001. It
Remember-
was like over the summer of 2001.
So you're talking for about 7-8 months before you had an actual match?
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides the stuff I did in here. The squash that I did in here, but I never counted those as official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But they were in this building, which is
Well,
amazing.
you know, those are eliminated from history.
But that was my first match on a show. Again, excluding, this is the Japanese thing, by the way.
What does that mean?
Just no.
Oh, really?
They do this all the time.
I'm gonna have to start.
I come back and like
You
I'm
do
doing
that to
it.
Mrs. H when
Yeah, this.
she wants to go to the movies after picking you up at the airport after a 17-hour
I
flight?
need sleep. Yeah, battle royals and stuff, excluding those.
This was your first real singles match in
Yeah.
front of a quote-unquote real crowd that, well, for whatever you want to say, bought tickets.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point in time, you know, shows weren't drawn much more than that. If it was, I mean, good shows were, but most indie shows were drawn about what they drew. It's a rough time for indie wrestling. Rough. Yeah, and that just happened on the fly, if I remember correctly. That wasn't a booked match, and I think you had something to do with it, no?
I did, because, was it some kind, I don't know how the hell I got involved with that, now that you mention it. Because it wasn't like it was one of the,
actually
it wasn't a Tony Rumble Memorial show, it was in February.
That was that was the next show, I think, was the Memorial show.
Well, I
It
know
was the
that
Rumble.
Tiger came in with us.
Yeah, I think technically this
I don't
might have
remember
been
why,
an MWF feature match because of Tiger.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Because, well, anybody in New England would have never brought in Tiger. They would have had to pay him.
No, I knew that. I remember I did bring in Tiger. I just don't remember what the reasoning was. I do remember that in a match later on the card, some of the hot plates got knocked over and the portions of the Italian-American club lit on fire.
Yes.
And I believe that might have been the last professional wrestling endeavor in that fine establishment in Malden, Massachusetts. I remember I flew up to Burlington, Vermont, the next morning to see a friend of mine that went to UVM, and I remember, I won't say who, the scathing phone call I got about the event from an individual that helped on the production end of things, and that was, I believe, his last night officially ever in the world of professional wrestling. He was so angry about these hot plates that lit on fire. From what I remember, everybody had to leave the building, right?
Yeah, well, we were backstage, but yeah, we had to exit.
Yeah, we had to get the hell out of there. And at that point, you know my levels of disgust with just about anything. I put you over when we opened this show, but it can be safe to say I am not the world's greatest people person. Is that safe to say? I like you, but you know it's a short list. But I'd rather have quality than quantity. But that's just me. But what a memory to have. The building lit on fire.
Yeah.
In front of 40 people. During your first real professional wrestling match. Any other thoughts? I know you and Tiger had a couple of matches over the years.
Yeah, Tiger was great. It was great wrestling Tiger that first match too. I mean, he took care of me, and we put on that match. Though it was my first match, and I'm sure it wasn't very good because I wasn't very good at the time. That actually led me into Chaotic Wrestling and the Chaotic Training Center because Pants and Mucko, who were booking for Chaotic, or just started booking for Chaotic, were actually in the crowd, just to heckle. That's what they did before they really got into wrestling. And their reaction from that match was, wow, that wasn't that bad. Whereas what they do, they would go to shows and just bury all the bad matches and heckle. And when they saw that one, they're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And they saw potential in me. And that led me to get booked in Chaotic, and later end up just going to school there, which really changed the course of my,
I'll say,
professional wrestling career, 100%. So,
you know, I always thought Tiger could have done a heck of a lot more than he did if he didn't blow out his knee when he started to get heavy. Because at the point we're talking about now in 2002, he was still in fairly good shape. He wasn't the world's biggest guy, but he had a lot of good ring psychology to him, and he understood the business part of wrestling too. And I thought, you know, it was disappointing that he never got the max out of it. Almost, well, I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, I like Tiger an awful lot. But that was very interesting that wound up being the first match. I don't even know if I realized that was you that was the opponent until some time later, because you and I really weren't I really didn't even know you
at that
when
point
that match took place. No, it was later in 2002. I think around the time of what was the name of the place in Woonsocket called? Was it the Wrestleplex?
Wrestleplex, yeah.
The Wrestleplex. The Ron Robinson free meals, I think, was how we became buddy-buddy. Now, I mentioned earlier to the folks at home what a genuine human being you are. And we mentioned the Al Bundy mobile that was known for the tickets on 93 North. But you were nice and I want to know how. I don't even know if I know the story behind this either. You drove a gentleman named Hollywood Ron Robinson, who was a stroke victim. Mm-hmm. He had a bizarre-looking hand, almost looked like it could have been a gimmick back in 40s and 50s wrestling. And we'll call him nice, a challenged man named Joe LeBlanc, who spoke a form of English and a form of Martian. He was bilingual. You used to drive them from show to show. You'd drive them to and from the studio on a regular basis. And I'm going to try and do a video insert to try and do this justice of who these two people are. How did you ever get involved in this?
Again, it was Smart Beep.
Hollywood Ron Robinson had a beeper.
No, that would be fantastic. No. Well, Scott Turner worked there. Scott Wallace worked there.
Okay.
But the other guy who worked there was Mark the Shark.
I never met him. I remember Hollywood Ron Robinson saying his name consistently, but I never met the guy.
Yeah, I can't remember what his full actual name was, but they called him Mark the Shark because his teeth were sharkish. He was also a ref. Or a little.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A little reffing for NWA New England. But his brother-in-law was Joe LeBlanc.
Oh, you know, okay. That story 15 years ago kind of sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up.
Came to know them.
Came to know them, and Joe LeBlanc literally lived, at the time, 2 streets away from me. So it wasn't even out of my way to get him. Ron Robinson a little further out of the way,
but Ron Robinson would get the meal.
Yeah, but he was such a nice guy too, and so that my whole first year.
He's still alive.
Year and a half.
Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe that.
Hollywood is. When was the last time you saw Hollywood?
Probably 10 years ago.
We should have surprised you and had him come down.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Could have sprang for another meal. Now, poor Hollywood, I tell you. If you people have no idea who we're talking about, which I hope is the case, they were 2 interesting pieces of work.
They were. But
those are the
year
people
and a half,
that define your experiences when you first break into the wrestling. The
Yeah.
Walruses, the Hollywoods, the Joe LeBlancs, and you went on to meet even more colorful people as time went on.
Yeah, the Dan Maratis.
You're gonna clump me in with them? Oh, I love it. Well, you know what? And it's not because I'm angry with what you just said. I had this on the format sheet. We're going to take a brief time out now. You've seen the graphics scrolling. We got some great T-shirts of not only Warbeard Hanson, but the War Machine Tag Team. You can get them over at ProWrestlingTees.com. If you're watching it online, the link is below. All you got to do is click it. You help support this great man's career. You get some nice wear. I know, Todd, you promised me at least 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Plus, little Marathi wants one.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I know that's what's filled in your bag. The holiday season is coming up. Start early. Pro Wrestling Tees has shirts for just about everybody. I don't know why I'm giving them such a great plug, but you know what? You're here with us. I want them to buy the War Machine shirts. They're really cool shirts. As you can see, what would be the upper right-hand corner on your computer screen and on your television screen, you get some really cool designs.
Yeah, we do. And we have a bunch of them, too. We have like six or 7.
Do you design them?
No, we have multiple different people who design them.
Multiple?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like you're an art factory out in New York City or something. Gee, well, check out his shirts, all the other great offers we have going on. I know everybody likes things for free in 2017. It's the way it is with the World Wide Web, but, you know, some things do cost money. Time isn't always free. Productions aren't always free. So if you can help the cause, if everybody just contributes a little, that's the great thing about life I've found, even in getting productions like this ready. The more hands you have involved in the process, the less work it takes for everybody else.
Absolutely.
So check out his T-shirts. We're going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we're going to field some questions we received from the fans about how you can break into the world of professional wrestling and what you can expect. We'll be right back.
The groundbreaking event, War Games, returns. Houston on Saturday, November 18th. The superstars of NXT compete in 2 rings, side by side, surrounded by steel. 3 teams enter, 1 team survives. It's NXT TakeOver War Games in Houston, Saturday, November 18th. Tickets are available.
Through the ages, across generations, we've searched to know everything. Now, our biggest questions will be answered. It's absolutely everything you need to know about WWE. From inside the ring facts to beyond the ring history. Everything WWE is right here. Absolutely everything you need to know. Available now online or wherever books are sold.
Houston on Sunday, November 19th. It's WWE Survivor Series. The one time a year Raw and SmackDown Live go head to head.
I must beat a man who you people think is unbeatable.
Your challenge is accepted by the undisputed conqueror.
Champion battles champion as Raw and SmackDown Live collide.
Raw is under siege. This is an onslaught.
Plus, free agent John Cena returns. It's WWE Survivor Series pay-per-view on Sunday, November 19th. Tickets are available.
Wrestling fans, welcome back to Memories and Legends. This is Dan Marathi. John Cena Sr. is on assignment, but more importantly, I'm joined by my longtime, close personal friend, Warbeard Hanson himself. I can't even call him Todd anymore. I don't get it. But anyway, Todd, we forgot to mention at the first break, 2 things that I thought were very important, to me at least. I remember sitting in the crowd at the TD Boston Garden, May the 1st, 2005. The man that broke into training in professional wrestling not even 4 years before, now had a what is called the dark match. If fans aren't familiar with that term, it's an untelevised match that takes place as the fans are filing in before the show goes live on USA or whatever the TV channel may be. And you came out for your debut. And I sat there like a proud papa saying, there he is. There he is. Your memories on your first match at a WWE event inside a WWE ring.
Yeah, I lucked out that day. Brian Black, who I wrestled, who went on to be Paul Mercannon on TV. He had just gotten signed, and they wanted to give him a dark match, and he had to pick his opponent. So he picked me, which most opportunities I had with WWE was because a friend picked me because I don't have abs, so they wouldn't pick me just by looking at me, at least in that time period. Anyway, Brian picked me, and we got to have a match, dark match. Before the match, I remember, and I'm sure you remember the music video that used to play before the show, Lonely Road of Faith. It gives me goosebumps right now. we were in the gorilla position right behind the Tron, so we got to watch, in reverse on the Tron, the Lonely Road of Faith music video, which was chilling. It was awesome. And then we went out there and we performed. And I remember it being, when we were in the ring, a lot less nerve-wracking than I thought it was going to be. Maybe because I was in there with Brian Black. I thought a lot had to do with the lights were so bright, I really couldn't see the audience. But it all felt natural and like where I belonged. And then I won.
You went over in your first match in WWE history, and you weren't even the guy that was signed.
I am still currently undefeated via pinfall in the WWE. There have been other matches.
Well, now we're going to get there. Now, was this the night of the Kofi Kingston story, where Kofi was in the crowd and experienced seeing you live and in action?
Yes.
And could you share that? Because that's another one that I enjoy a great deal.
Well, I'm hoping telling the way that you remember it, but
that Kofi was in the crowd and he saw your pre-Warbeard self in the ring, and he said, "You know what? If he can do it, I can do it."
So can I. But I think he said that more about Arch Kincaid, because he had met Arch Kincaid before.
Oh, really?
Arch wrestled in, I want to say, like a Sunday Night Heat match or whatever, and he had recognized Arch from the gym, because Arch, he stood out. He was insane, and he stood out. So he recognized Arch from the gym, so he thought, if these guys can do it, who I've seen, I went to that gym too at that time, Arch was training me. If these guys can be in there and do it, and so can I. And now look at him.
And look at how quick his ascension was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was busy training about a year before he wound up getting signed?
Yeah, a little more than a year, yeah.
What an athletic specimen.
Yeah.
And
he was lucky, too.
Why is that?
Because, we had a tryout at the school, at the Chaotic Training Center at the time. All the agents came and stuff like that. And I remember Brian Fury wrestled Kofi first, and I wrestled Kofi second. And I made sure Kofi got all his Jamaican stuff in, because that's what was so entertaining about him. And Dean Malenko happened to remember that Paul Heyman wanted the Jamaican character for WWE TV. And that is really the real,
that's how it happened.
He was athletic, he was in good shape, he was a good-looking kid, whatever. So they figured whatever he's not good at, we can mold him and make him into what we want, but he does this Jamaican character, and we love it, and Paul Heyman wants that on TV. So that's why, really, ultimately, there's a lot of reasons why. He's very good. He's a great guy. A lot of great things that added up to where he is now. But his debut happened so fast in WWTV because Paul Heyman wanted the Jamaican character on ECW.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that I did not know. That's why I love these interviews. You always learn so many insightful things. But then again, there is someone that I really wanted to put together a feud between the two of you. I think we did at least one match down in Braintree, but that was during the Moose Lodge saga.
Yes,
we won't even get into that. But Kofi was someone that I really wanted to do a heck of a lot with. Like you said, not only a phenomenal athlete, but a nice person to interact with.
Yes.
Anytime you spoke back then, he knew next to nothing about wrestling, was always interested to hear what people had to say with feedback.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's done so well for himself.
And
I always hate to say when there's
now.
someone, I hate to see someone that I hate do well. Does that make me a small person?
No.
I love to see the good guys do well.
Yeah.
I thought Kofi was one of the good guys. I just wish we get to do more with him directly in the MWF. But that's a different story for a different time. All right, Todd, we have got the questions to field. They want to know the question you must get asked so many times when you run into fans. How do I break into professional wrestling? From your lips.
You find a reputable school. That's how you do it. You find a good school that has a good track record, run by somebody who is reputable.
Do you need any sort of preparation before you begin training? Should you have a specific athletic background?
You should be some sort of an athlete, yeah.
Now, what kind of an athlete were you when you started?
Well, as a child, before my high school years where I went into backyard wrestling, I was star baseball player,
I didn't know you played baseball.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
After all these years, isn't that something?
Yeah, third base out of my hometown. So I was very athletically active my whole childhood. So I was ready to be an athlete on a different stage.
I agree with that 110%.
So it's important
there should be some kind of athleticism in the body.
It's important. Yeah, exactly. That sums it up.
How about this one? Why do pro wrestling schools have no set price? It's almost like going to buy a car. You have to wiggle, you have to finagle. Should you bring your negotiating skills to the table when you go to try and enter the world of professional wrestling?
I think yes, and what it is more, they're sympathetic to whatever your situation may be. At least what I've come to find out through wrestling schools is they're sympathetic to whatever. So they still want to get paid that full price, and they will eventually, but they will work with you on how you obtain that price.
It's almost like the GPS when it gives you 3 or 4 different routes.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to put it?
Yes, it's exactly, yeah. Because they understand, like, I mean, when I started, I worked at KB Toys and Smart Beef, so, like, I didn't
Did you offer them any deals on the beepers?
No.
No, you did not. Well, I was going to say in their line of business, but anyway. See, you always get me off track. What should you expect from your first days of training? Is it going to hurt to get in that squared circle?
Yes, it's going to hurt. And that's one of the things that we would tell everybody. Like, you go home, you may not feel hurt right now, but you're going to feel hurt. So ice your neck, you hit the ropes, you're going to bruise on your sides. It's what happens. So yeah, I mean, every bump is almost equivalent to a small car accident. So you have to be prepared. You're going to hurt.
Speaking of car accidents, you actually get to see the visual of the night the drunk driver hit myself, Commissioner Von Johnson, and the Iron Sheik on 495
I
North,
drove by
when we were blown up.
I drove by it, and I'm sorry, but because the Iron Sheik was involved, we sped up and got out of there. we were going to be involved in that.
I only wish you took a picture.
Oh my God.
I would have loved to have seen what it looked like from someone's point of view, other than me roasting like a marshmallow next to the truck that was on fire.
It was glass, glass everywhere. It was, it must have just happened because there wasn't much of a flame yet.
Well, they had to fly in a helicopter. They shut down that side of the highway. So you probably, it must have either been just after it or it must have been quite a while afterwards. I don't know.
Just
which
after
one.
it.
It was just after.
Yeah,
okay.
it was just after it.
Oh, and I tell you, I'm feeling it right now in the leg. Nonetheless, not about my growing pains, crying pains. How long should I expect to wait before I have my first match?
It depends. Depends how quickly.
There is no set time. It's different per person, so to speak. Depends on how good you are.
Yeah. Some guys can take a year or two to actually get it to click and get that opportunity. Some guys can go at it 6 months in. It just depends on how quickly you're able to grasp professional wrestling.
How much will I get paid when I start to have wrestling matches?
Little to none.
Is that really? Is that the way it goes?
Yeah.
I think I went about it the wrong way.
It's much different now than it was 16 years ago. There's actually money in indie professional wrestling, and guys can make a living doing what we're doing without having to be in the big leagues. That's a huge change than it was even 5 years ago.
Sure.
But when you first start, you're not going to make a lot of money.
Give them a ballpark what they should expect. I know you said nothing to little, but I mean, should they be happy with $10, $20?
When I first started, it was 25, and I don't know what it is now for guys. I really don't. But that's all we made was $25.
Should it be based on the size of the crowd, maybe, like in the old days? Because I'm a big proponent of that.
Yeah,
I think everybody should share in the success, and I think everyone should share in the misery.
It could be, absolutely could be. But I don't know. I don't run any indie shows. I'm not. I'm gone so much. There's a long time.
You're not even in the country.
Yeah, not even in the country. I don't even do many indie shows now, so it's hard for me to make that decision or figure it out.
And another question that you probably would get a lot. You probably don't have, or almost laugh at the question. How long until WWE interests me? How long until WWE is interested in me?
There's no answer to that question.
I like that.
There
isn't. But you know that's what everybody, that's the end
Yeah.
of it. But like you said, now at the 2017, it's a much different wrestling world, so to speak, for guys, where WWE isn't the only end game as far as being able to make a full-time living goes.
Exactly. And then what I've learned, and it isn't so much now, but even a couple of years ago, like when I did my Performance Center tryout, it was a casting call. So yeah, they want to have a good professional wrestler, but at the same point in time, just like Kofi, when they wanted the Jamaican character, if they see you filling a role on their television program, because that's what the WWE is, a television program, then they're probably going to hire you and try to mold you into that role that they see you on their television program. Or we're just talking about Lars.
Lars Sullivan of NXT, yep.
He was in my performance center tryout. Never been in the ring before, but because of his look and athletic ability, they know, like, we can see this guy on TV in this role. Let's hire him, train him, and let's see if we can put him in that role.
And how long ago was that, would you say?
3-4 years ago.
Well, as we were talking about before we started recording, we were at a couple of the NXT live events back in September, and him and Oney Lorcan beat the shit out of each other. It was great. I loved it. That's the kind of wrestling that I like. You know, he has that great old school throwback look.
Mm-hmm.
Is he from another country?
No.
Oh, he's an American.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
from like one of the Dakotas or something, or Iowa.
You know,
or
I
something.
could see him having that kind of a frame, being from a Midwest place like that.
Midwest, yeah.
Well, I hope, you know, he continues to be healthy and continues to improve, and he gets a shot, because I think he'd be something refreshing for weekly television on any wrestling promotion. But one that just popped into my mind a few minutes ago: what should wrestlers start to put away for the day when they've taken their last bump?
Oh,
When the television lights go down,
yeah. I mean,
and it's ready to head on down to, if you're not already in Florida, sit on the rocking chair, take an indie booking or some fan fests here and there. How do you prepare for retirement in the world of professional wrestling?
put away as much as you can, but it's not as easy done as this said.
It is not.
No.
There's no 401k and with an employee match. It's not Arch Wireless.
No. It sure isn't.
Did you get a 401k out of Arch Wireless?
I believe a small one, yes.
People aren't even going to know what the hell we're talking about. We actually worked together in real life at a company called Arch Wireless in Saugus, Massachusetts, right across the street from the world-famous Kowloon Entertainment and Dining Complex. We had a lot of fun. You get to meet Linda Moratti. I mean, what a joy that is as I look back on the past 15 years. You were one of the few people that ever got to come over the house. You met the older of the two little Morattis when he was a very little. We took him on some of our adventures, and like I think I told you, we just had a baby a couple of weeks ago.
Amazing.
That idiot. Oh, man, I was at Fenway Park when I found out, and I tell you. But anyway, so there's some ideas on how you can enter the world of professional wrestling. We'll bring it on over to the two-shot. But you need to get his handsome face in there. Remember, that was that old character that I hated and wanted to slit the throat of anyone that used. Let me ask you, well, yeah, I'll save it for the next video. We're going to take a brief time out. We'll wrap up the show when we come back. Stand by.
Houston on Monday, November 20th. Feel the thrill of the new era Monday Night Raw with a massive main event.
Release the hounds!
Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose reunite as The Shield as they return to Houston for the first time in 3 years to battle The Miz, Cesaro, and Sheamus in a 6-man tag team match. It's WWE Raw, live in Houston, Monday, November 20th. Tickets and ring center packages are available.
Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Moratti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to let you know how the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation can come to your city live to help raise cash for your nonprofit cause. Experience the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation live in your city throughout New England, the tri-state area, down through the Carolinas, out to our friends in the Midwest and beyond.
If your nonprofit organization is looking for an interactive turnkey experience while putting the fun into fundraising, you've met the perfect tag team partner to work with every step of the way.
The MWF offers a variety of packages for groups of almost any size, from our live events at the Boston Garden, the Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex, and the legendary Suffolk Downs, to high school gyms and function halls. We've presented live events everywhere and anywhere.
Since 2001, the MWF's mission has been simple: keep the kids off the streets. Under the leadership of President David Reese, we bring the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow to your town. Not for a wrestling show, but an event that features action-packed in-ring wrestling, autograph and pose photo opportunities, Q&A sessions, and so much more. It's the best of sports and entertainment. The week of your event, we can add on to the endeavor with anti-bullying campaigns, library meet and greet reads, youth sport concussion seminars, and more.
Our live events are fit for fans of any age from 5 to 95. This fall is part of our new Kids Club program. We offer live event experiences exclusively for the youngest of fans. On the flip side, we can produce a tailor-made event for fans of an older demographic as well. We work with you every step of the way to get the word out to fans near and far on our local television offerings and to over 50,000 fans and growing on our social media platforms.
Your success is our success. If your group has had enough of candy bar and wrapping paper sales and has the energy to team with our passionate fan base, bringing the NWF experience to your community is the answer to put smiles on faces while raising cash for your cause.
Contact us today to get the ball rolling for your custom-made event that you'll want to bring back year after year to your community.
Don't just take it from us. Here are the folks we've teamed up with in the past.
Houston, on Tuesday, November 21st, the new era SmackDown Live returns with a huge double main event. See AJ Styles collide with Jinder Mahal in a Houston street fight for the WWE Championship. Plus, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Bobby Roode team up to battle Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Dolph Ziggler in a massive six-man tag team match. It's WWE SmackDown Live in Houston, Tuesday, November 21st. Tickets and ringside packages are available.
Fans, welcome back again. Head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees. The link is below. Get the shirts. I don't think you'll look quite as good as him, but like I said, they get some really cool logos, and I wish I had some of your designs. Maybe they could recreate me as an able-bodied human being.
I don't know about that.
Let me ask you this. If there was one mistake that you think you made when you broke into professional wrestling that you'd advise others not to do, what would it be?
Jeez. Protect your body. We all only have a certain amount of bumps in our body, a certain amount of falls, and protect that. Because I've taken way too many.
You think you went overboard early on?
Oh yeah, yeah. And it was a product of our training, and training is changing and evolving to protect people a lot more. But when I started, it was so many bumps. And it was so brutal on all of our bodies who went to that school at that time. Me, Tommaso, Malonis, Max Pellin, all of us got pretty beat up, and we're feeling it now. So protect your bodies. Know that you only have a certain amount of falls in your body, and you need to protect that. This is how we make money.
You heard it from the man himself. I'm going to bring it over to the two shop. No one wants to see me. The guy that's done it 16 years, and he's only getting bigger and better, but he's beaten up.
Yeah.
We'll keep throwing the B's in there,
yeah.
BBB, not Tony Rumble. But I've enjoyed this a great deal. For someone like my friend Vince that's actually done it, he's put the money down to go to the school, he's doing the travel. You know he's going to feel the frustration at some point. The majority of the people are going to feel like they want to give up at some point, because they do. What would your advice be to him?
Don't give up.
To little Vince.
Yeah, don't give up. There have been several times where I was ready to give up, several times where even doctors told me that I was done. It was over with. Major injuries that they told me that my career was over. And like the thought of quitting obviously came to play. But don't quit, because I'm the living example. Here I am 16 years in, 2 career-threatening injuries, and I'm making it. I'm making my living as a professional wrestler. Me and Ray Rowe, War Machine, big stars, New Japan Pro Wrestling, probably the second largest wrestling promotion in the world.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So don't give up. There's no reason to. I'm the example.
Again, fans, you heard it from Todd himself. Very happy to have you here. Next week, the holiday season is here. We're going to get started with the Paul Bear, the 5th annual Paul Bear Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. I know we're going to be talking a little bit about that in the future. We got a lot more to talk about in future weeks, so it's going to be great. It was great to have you here. I hope we have some insight for the great fans at home. I know when I was a little kid, I wish I had, even though I never broke in as a professional wrestler, but I wish I had a handbook like this from a wrestler telling me how I should go about things, how to do it, and so on and so forth. I know John Cena Sr. offered a very unique perspective along the same lines. But for Warbeard Hanson, I am Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well.
Welcome, everybody. This is unbelievable. Can you feel it? One of the most incredible moments.
Providence, feel the thrill as the new era Monday Night Raw returns just in time for the holidays, so you can hashtag best night of my life with nonstop action and all your favorite superstars. No filter. It's WWE Raw live on Monday, December 18th. Tickets and ringsider packages are available.